I have a story to start with before my lecture. It was at a school, and there was a student. She was reading a letter from home that she got, and she was reading it. She just looked so depressed. And the deaf teacher looked at her and said, "What's wrong? Why the sad face?" And she said, "My sister died." "Your sister died? I'm so sorry," he said. She gave him the letter, and he read it. He said, "No. Your sister didn't die. She was excited. Tickled to death," meaning she was thrilled, excited. "Don't worry, she didn't die." "Oh, that's what it means? She didn't die? She was just excited?" "Yeah, excited," he said. She was so relieved. Now, just keep that in mind. I need to explain for you to be able to understand the story and what happened before all that, to continue onward. Deaf education. Back in 1870, there was a school that was established, and that started deaf education. There was a teacher named Clerk and Gallaudet, and they came together and collaborated, and deaf kids came there, and as time went on, they began to graduate and started working, and some even established other deaf schools in places. It began spreading, like in New York and Texas. And there were even a lot of deaf teachers at these schools. A lot of deaf people. And they also had hearing teachers, of course. And they actually signed just as well as the deaf teachers. They were very clear, and everyone was able to communicate with each other. Just imagine that. It's true. As time went on, 1880, in Milan, Italy, there was a conference, and they were discussing, how to teach kids, and they finally voted that signing should be illegal in schools. And students from now on should learn the oral method. And America heard about this, and they continued to sign. And around 1910, it started spreading over to America, and things started changing. The oral method just started showing up at all the deaf schools. No one liked it at all. They said, "I don't want to stop signing," but it kept spreading. And the amount of deaf teachers began to decrease. And as time went on, the percentage of deaf teachers really decreased, from around 80% all the way down to, well, now under 10% easily. Looking now and looking back, today, ASL is a language. Around 1965, there were linguistics, and they found that, ASL is just as equal as any other language, like English. Everyone thought, signing was just to communicate, just a code of communication. But now it's a language. And the deaf were inspired when they heard that. Wow, I have a language? It's not just written English. And it's ASL. And then the thought of it being a culture was analyzed. It's a special group. It's not just a language. And researchers were thinking, and it began to spread. And now it still continues today. And when deaf, look back at that with the impression, they understand that and realize, that, and now they don't have to be labeled, as hearing impaired and all those bad names. TTD, it's fine. Language problems, communication disorder, all those. And they accepted it. And they found that ASL, and that there was a culture. And, they started explaining to themselves all these things that they're just not. They're not labeled. They were not going to label themselves with those bad terms. I use a TTY, not a TDD. You know, they were confusing. Communication problems, you know, it's just communication differences. And, you know, their attitudes started changing as who they are. And, you know, looking at parents and teachers, parents of, you know, hearing parents of deaf children, they instantly think they need to go to the doctor, you know, get their opinion, a professional opinion, and maybe get cochlear implants, and want to do what's best for their children to keep them normal. And they don't think deaf is being normal. So the deaf try to motivate these parents and say, no, 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 you're doing it all wrong. And now deaf people are starting to show them how, you know, deaf students should be raised, their kids, and take their advice and learn ASL. You know, come interact with the deaf people. You know, your child and my child are deaf. It's fine, like, come join, you need to interact. The deaf parents and teachers can be a model for the parents. And looking at the children, you don't even know if they're with deaf parents or with hearing parents.